Every man should know this. While some foods boost your testosterone, others can silently disrupt your hormonal balance. These 3 common healthy foods are diminishing your bedroom performance, and most doctors aren't even aware of it. For decades, men have been bombarded with advice about healthy eating. We've been told to cut the red meat, avoid saturated fat, load up on whole grains, and choose plant-based proteins whenever possible. This advice was supposed to protect our hearts, extend our lives, and keep us vital well into our later years. But something isn't adding up. Despite following this healthy eating advice, millions of men over 50 are experiencing declining energy, reduced stamina, and diminishing performance in the bedroom. Many assume it's just an inevitable part of aging. But what if it's not? What if some of the very foods we've been told to eat for health are actually sabotaging our masculine vitality? This isn't speculation or fringe theory. A growing body of research is revealing that certain foods commonly labeled as healthy can dramatically impact male hormones, reduce blood flow to critical areas, and ultimately compromise performance where it matters most. Yet this information rarely makes it into mainstream health discussions or your doctor's office. I'm Dr. Rachel Thompson, and for over 25 years, I've specialized in nutritional endocrinology for aging men. I've witnessed firsthand how dietary choices can either enhance or diminish male vitality, often with effects that become increasingly apparent after age 50. Today, I'm going to reveal 3 healthy foods that may be secretly undermining your performance and explain exactly why they're so problematic for men's hormonal health. Before we dive in, I'd like to invite you to subscribe to our channel and hit the notification bell. Each week, we share evidence-based natural solutions for the health challenges that matter most to aging men. And if you're concerned about maintaining your vigor and vitality as you age, type vitality in the comments below. I read every comment and want to understand your specific situation. Now let's uncover the first supposedly healthy food that may be sabotaging your performance. Soy products. Tofu, soy milk, edamame, and the countless processed foods containing soy protein have been marketed as heart-healthy alternatives to animal proteins. But for men, especially those over 50, regular soy consumption can have troubling effects on hormonal balance. Soy contains compounds called isoflavones, particularly genistein and daidzein, which are classified as phytoestrogens, plant compounds that can mimic estrogen in the human body. While these compounds may offer certain benefits, they can also bind to estrogen receptors and potentially disrupt the delicate balance between testosterone and estrogen that's crucial for male sexual function. A study published in the journal Cancer Epidemiology, Biomarkers and Prevention found that men who consumed the equivalent of 1 cup of soy milk daily for just 1 month experienced a 19% decrease in serum testosterone. Another study from Harvard showed that men who regularly consumed soy foods had lower sperm concentrations compared to men who did not eat soy. What makes this particularly concerning for men over 50 is that testosterone naturally declines with age, approximately 1% per year after age 30. By the time you reach your 50s and 60s, you can't afford to lose additional testosterone to dietary factors, especially when that loss directly impacts your energy, muscle mass, and sexual performance. James, a 58-year-old patient who came to me struggling with fatigue and declining libido, had switched to soy milk and tofu several years earlier after his doctor recommended reducing animal protein for heart health. His dietary logs showed he was consuming soy products 2 to 3 times daily. Laboratory testing revealed his testosterone levels were at the very bottom of the reference range, while his estrogen levels were unusually high for a man. "I thought I was doing everything right," James told me. "I gave up steak, switched to soy, exercised regularly, but I kept feeling worse, not better. My energy tanked, my body changed, and my sex drive virtually disappeared." We eliminated soy products from James's diet and substituted other protein sources that support rather than suppress testosterone production. Within just 3 months, his hormone panel showed significant improvements, testosterone up 43% and estrogen down to normal male ranges. More importantly, he reported dramatic improvements in energy, body composition, and sexual function. "It's like someone turned the lights back on," he shared during a follow-up visit. "I feel like myself again, and my wife has definitely noticed the difference too." Now, I want to be clear. Occasional soy consumption is unlikely to cause significant hormonal disruption in most men. The problems arise with regular, daily consumption, particularly of highly processed soy protein isolate found in protein bars, shakes, and many vegetarian meat substitutes. The more processed the soy, the more concentrated the isoflavones, and the greater the potential hormonal impact. If you've been regularly consuming soy products and experiencing declining energy or sexual function, consider eliminating soy for 60 to 90 days and monitor how you feel. Many of my patients report noticeable improvements within just a few weeks of making this simple dietary change. Let's move on to the second healthy food that may be undermining your performance: flaxseed. This small brown seed has been celebrated as a nutritional powerhouse, rich in omega-3 fatty acids and fiber. Health magazines and nutritionists recommend adding ground flaxseed to everything from smoothies to oatmeal, and many men dutifully sprinkle it on their food daily, believing they're doing something great for their health. What most men don't realize is that flaxseed is one of the richest dietary sources of lignans, another type of phytoestrogen that can influence hormonal balance. In fact, flaxseed contains up to 800 times more lignans than most other foods. These compounds can increase the production of sex hormone-binding globulin, SHBG, a protein that binds to testosterone in the bloodstream, essentially making it unavailable for use by your body's tissues. A study published in the Journal of Clinical Endocrinology and Metabolism found that men consuming 30 grams, about 2 tablespoons, of ground flaxseed daily experienced significant increases in SHBG and decreases in free testosterone, the biologically active form that's crucial for libido, energy, and sexual function. What makes this particularly problematic for men over 50 is that SHBG naturally increases with age. By your 60s, you may have twice the SHBG levels you had in your 30s, which means less free testosterone is available even if your total testosterone production hasn't changed dramatically. Adding flaxseed to the mix further increases SHBG, potentially exacerbating the age-related decline in available testosterone. Robert, a 63-year-old former athlete who prided himself on maintaining his fitness, came to me puzzled by his declining performance both in the gym and the bedroom despite his meticulous attention to what he considered a healthy diet. His morning routine included a super healthy smoothie containing a hefty serving of ground flaxseed, something he'd been doing daily for nearly 5 years. Blood testing revealed his total testosterone was actually within reasonable range for his age, but his free testosterone was extremely low due to elevated SHBG levels. We immediately eliminated flaxseed from his diet and implemented other strategies to optimize his hormonal profile. 3 months later, Robert's free testosterone had increased by 36% even though his total testosterone remained relatively unchanged. The difference was a significant reduction in SHBG, allowing more of his existing testosterone to be biologically active. The effects were noticeable in multiple areas of his life. "I thought I was just getting old," Robert told me. "But within weeks of changing my diet, my energy in the gym improved, my recovery between workouts was faster, and my wife definitely noticed the difference in our intimate life. I can't believe something as simple as those seeds in my smoothie was having such an impact." Again, I want to emphasize that occasional consumption of flaxseed is unlikely to cause significant issues for most men. The problems arise with daily intake, particularly of ground flaxseed where the lignans are more bioavailable. If you've been regularly consuming flaxseed and experiencing symptoms of low testosterone, consider eliminating it from your diet for at least 2 months to see if you notice improvements. Now let's discuss the third healthy food that may be compromising your performance: vegetable and seed oils. Corn oil, soybean oil, canola oil, sunflower oil, and other polyunsaturated vegetable oils have been promoted as heart-healthy alternatives to saturated fats like butter and lard. These oils are in virtually every processed food, and many men use them liberally for cooking, believing they're making a healthy choice. What most men don't realize is that these oils are incredibly high in omega-6 fatty acids, which in excess can promote inflammation throughout the body, including in the vascular system. This inflammation can damage the delicate endothelial cells that line your blood vessels, reducing nitric oxide production and impairing blood flow, particularly to the small sensitive blood vessels that control erectile function. A study published in the Journal of Clinical Investigation found that diets high in omega-6 fatty acids from vegetable oils were associated with increased production of inflammatory compounds and reduced vascular function. Another study in the Journal of Urology established a direct link between chronic inflammation and erectile dysfunction, particularly in men over 50. The problem has been compounded by the fact that our intake of these oils has increased dramatically over the past 100 years. The average American now consumes about 20 times more omega-6 fatty acids than our ancestors did, creating a profound imbalance in our fatty acid profiles and promoting chronic, low-grade inflammation throughout the body. Thomas, a 67-year-old who had been experiencing gradually worsening erectile function despite being in otherwise good health, came to me after medications were providing less and less benefit. A detailed analysis of his diet revealed he was consuming substantial amounts of omega-6 rich oils through both his home cooking and his frequent consumption of restaurant foods, which almost exclusively use these oils. We implemented a comprehensive plan to reduce inflammatory oils in his diet, substituting them with more stable fats like olive oil, coconut oil, and yes, even some butter. We also increased his intake of omega-3 fatty acids to help balance his overall fatty acid profile. The results were remarkable, even to me. Within just 2 months, Thomas reported significant improvements in both spontaneous and medication-assisted erections. His fasting inflammatory markers had decreased by 38%, and his endothelial function tests showed measurable improvements in vascular responsiveness. Perhaps most tellingly, his need for ED medication decreased substantially. I had no idea the oils I was using could affect me like this, Thomas shared. I've been brainwashed to think butter is bad and vegetable oil is good. Changing these oils has made more difference than any pill I've taken. The inflammation caused by excessive omega-6 oils doesn't just affect sexual function. It can impair energy production at the cellular level, contributing to the fatigue and reduced stamina that many men experience as they age. By reducing these inflammatory oils and replacing them with more stable alternatives, many men experience improvements in overall energy and vitality in addition to better sexual function. So what should you eat instead of these 3 problematic foods? The good news is that there are plenty of alternatives that not only avoid hormonal disruption, but actually support optimal male function as you age. Instead of soy products, consider animal proteins like eggs, fish, and yes, even red meat in moderation. Contrary to decades of fearmongering, recent research has largely exonerated unprocessed red meat as a health risk, particularly when sourced from grass-fed animals. These proteins provide the building blocks your body needs for testosterone production, without the phytoestrogenic compounds found in soy. Instead of flaxseed, consider chia seeds or hemp seeds if you're looking for plant-based omega-3s. Neither contain significant amounts of lignans, making them neutral choices for hormonal health. Even better, include fatty fish like salmon, mackerel, or sardines in your diet several times weekly for the most bioavailable form of omega-3s without the hormonal downsides. Instead of vegetable and seed oils, use olive oil for cold applications and coconut oil, avocado oil, or even butter for cooking. These fats are more stable when heated and don't promote the same inflammatory response as polyunsaturated vegetable oils. Contrary to decades of misguided advice, moderate consumption of saturated fat does not appear to increase cardiovascular risk, particularly when consumed as part of a diet rich in vegetables and other whole foods. Beyond these substitutions, there are foods you can actively include to support optimal male function. Zinc-rich foods like oysters, pumpkin seeds, and beef help maintain healthy testosterone levels. Nitrate-rich foods like beets, arugula, and spinach support nitric oxide production and healthy blood flow. And antioxidant-rich foods like berries, dark chocolate, and pomegranate help protect your vascular system from oxidative damage. Michael, a 71-year-old who had been struggling with declining energy and sexual function for years despite an ostensibly healthy lifestyle, implemented all of these dietary changes simultaneously. The transformation in his health was profound. I've spent thousands on supplements and treatments trying to feel like myself again, Michael told me during his follow-up visit. If someone had told me that simply changing these few foods would make such a difference, I wouldn't have believed them. But the results speak for themselves. I haven't felt this good in 15 years. Michael's experience isn't unusual. I've seen hundreds of men experience similar transformations simply by eliminating these three problematic foods and replacing them with alternatives that support rather than undermine male vitality. Now, you might be wondering, why hasn't your doctor mentioned any of this? The answer speaks to a fundamental limitation in our medical education system. Most physicians receive minimal training in nutrition, just 19 hours across 4 years of medical school, according to a recent survey. Their understanding of how specific foods affect hormonal balance is often limited to the most extreme cases, not the subtle but significant effects that can accumulate over years of regular consumption. Additionally, nutritional research often takes decades to make its way into clinical practice. The studies I've referenced are relatively recent, and the medical establishment is notoriously slow to update its recommendations, particularly when those updates contradict long-standing advice. Dr. William Davis, a cardiologist who has extensively studied the effects of diet on hormonal health, puts it bluntly, "We've been giving men dietary advice that's actively harmful to their sexual and overall health, based on flawed science from the 1970s. It's time for a major reassessment of what constitutes a healthy diet for aging men." That reassessment is happening in research institutions around the world, but it hasn't yet penetrated most medical practices. This creates a gap between cutting-edge nutritional science and the advice most men receive from their healthcare providers. It's in this gap that many men unnecessarily suffer declining function that could be improved or even reversed through targeted dietary changes. If you're currently consuming any of these three foods regularly and experiencing symptoms of low testosterone or poor circulation, fatigue, reduced libido, declining sexual function, loss of muscle mass, or increased body fat, consider eliminating them for at least 60 days to see if you notice improvements. Many men experience significant changes within just a few weeks of making these dietary adjustments. Remember, these changes don't require expensive supplements, complex protocols, or dramatic lifestyle overhauls. They involve simple substitutions of everyday foods, replacing soy with animal proteins, flaxseed with other omega-3 sources, and vegetable oils with more stable alternatives. These small changes can have outsized effects on your hormonal balance, circulation, and ultimately your performance and quality of life. So let's summarize what we've learned. 3 commonly recommended healthy foods may be secretly undermining your masculine vitality. Soy products can increase estrogen activity and reduce testosterone. Flaxseed can bind testosterone through increased SHBG production. And vegetable oils can promote inflammation that damages vascular function. By eliminating or significantly reducing these foods and replacing them with alternatives that support male hormonal health, many men experience substantial improvements in energy, body composition, and sexual function, often within just a few weeks. These effects can be particularly profound for men over 50, who are already navigating the natural hormonal changes that come with aging. If this information has been valuable to you, please hit the like button and share this video with someone who might benefit. So many men are unnecessarily suffering the effects of dietary choices that undermine their vitality, unaware that simple changes could help them feel like themselves again. Subscribe to our channel for more evidence-based natural solutions for men's health, and tap the notification bell so you never miss an upload. Each week we explore different aspects of male vitality, always focused on practical, effective approaches backed by solid science. And please, leave a comment below sharing your experience with these foods or any questions you might have. I read every comment and do my best to respond to as many as possible. Your feedback helps guide the topics we cover in future videos. Thank you for joining me today. I'm Dr. Rachel Thompson, wishing you optimal health and vitality at any age. Until next time, take good care of yourself.